Allow your awareness now to gently turn inward toward the subtle, almost imperceptible weaving of the me story that you have cradled so tenderly for countless moments. Lifetimes, perhaps, each thread a delicate narrative spun from your memories, your beliefs, your fears, and your desires. This story, so familiar and so deeply etched into the fabric of your identity, has long served as the lens through which you interpret the world, a frame that colors every experience with the hues of I, mine, and self. Yet now, as you breathe slowly and deeply, feel the tender invitation to loosen your grip on this intricate tapestry, to allow the carefully constructed illusions of who you think you are to begin to soften, to fray, and eventually to dissolve into the raw, unadorned presence that underlies all of it. Sense how the me story, with all its chapters and footnotes, begins to lose its solidity, like morning mist melting beneath the gentle touch of dawn's first light, revealing the vast, boundless landscape of pure being that was always here, patiently waiting beneath the words and labels. Notice how the mind, so accustomed to identifying with this story, may instinctively reach out to clutch the familiar contours of your personality, the narrative that feels like home, even when it carries the weight of pain or limitation. You might sense the quiet trembling of resistance, the subtle tightening in the chest, as if letting go means losing something precious, something essential. But allow yourself to breathe into this gentle fear, inviting it to unfold like a delicate flower opening to the sun, until you realize that what you truly are is not the fragile story told by the mind, but the vast presence in which the story arises and falls away like waves upon an endless ocean. This presence does not cling or grasp, it simply is, fluid, spacious, and infinitely accommodating, holding the entire spectrum of your experience without judgment, without preference, without the slightest need to define or confine. Imagine now the me story as a shimmering veil, embroidered with every label you have ever worn: roles, titles, achievements, failures, memories, hopes, and fears. This veil has danced before your eyes for so long that it has woven itself into the very texture of your perception, creating the illusion of separation between yourself and the world. But as you soften your gaze and relax your mind's insistence on solidity, begin to perceive the veil's delicate threads unraveling, each one dissolving into the ambient light of pure awareness. With every breath, feel the space behind the veil widen, the boundaries that once seemed so distinct becoming porous and fluid, until the veil itself becomes transparent, revealing the seamless unity that has never been broken, only obscured. In this vast openness, there is no longer you and other, no longer the actor and the stage, only the luminous presence of what is, unmediated and unfragmented. Allow this realization to settle deeply into your being, like a cool, soothing rain soaking into thirsty earth. The me story, with all its drama and conflict, its triumphs and defeats, begins to lose its grip on your sense of self. You are invited to rest in the pure immediacy of this moment, where the restless mind ceases its restless weaving and simply witnesses the flow of experience as it is, without comment, without interpretation, without the need to belong to any particular narrative. Feel the profound relief that arises in this surrender, as the exhausting effort to maintain a continuous, coherent identity gently fades away, revealing the effortless clarity and peace of the raw present. Here there is no story to defend, no past to cling to, no future to fear, only the vast, open expanse of being that embraces all that arises and passes with equal grace. Notice how, as the me story dissolves, time itself seems to soften and lose its sharp edges. The past and future, once so vivid and urgent in your mind, begin to blur and blend into the ever-present now, like colors merging on an artist's palette. This moment, perfectly whole and complete, holds all that has ever been and all that will ever be, without separation, without division. You do not need to search for meaning or purpose outside of this unfolding now, because in the raw reality of what is, meaning simply is. It is the natural expression of presence itself, effortlessly revealing the unity beneath apparent multiplicity. Rest here in this spaciousness, allowing the mind's habitual stories to come and go like clouds drifting across a boundless sky, without attachment, without resistance, without losing your awareness of the infinite blue beyond. Feel the gentle softness of your own presence, not as a fixed me, but as a flowing, dynamic field of awareness that embraces and transcends every form and thought. This presence is not confined by any identity or label. It is the very ground of existence, the silent witness to all phenomena. It is neither separate nor merged, neither finite nor infinite. It simply is without condition or limitation. As you rest in this pure awareness, notice how the layers of your story peel away naturally, effortlessly, like autumn leaves falling from a tree, revealing the luminous heart of your being beneath. This heart is untouched by the fluctuations of the mind, unshaken by the changing seasons of life, eternally serene and free. Allow yourself to bask in the exquisite freedom that arises when the me story loosens its hold, and you come to know yourself not as a fragment, but as the vast, unbounded presence that enfolds all fragments. This is the profound mystery and the exquisite grace of your true nature. To be the witness, the space, and the silence in which all stories appear and disappear. Here, in this luminous emptiness, you are completely whole, completely free, completely at home. Rest now in this abiding peace, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breath as it moves like a soft tide in the infinite sea of being, flowing effortlessly between the known and the unknown, the named and the nameless, the story and the silence that holds it all. In this sacred resting place, recognize the subtle, tender beauty of the dissolving story, not as loss, but as liberation. The me you have carried is not meant to be destroyed or rejected, but lovingly released, like a bird freed from its cage, soaring effortlessly into the boundless sky of what is. You are invited to witness this release with a heart wide open, a mind serene and spacious, and a presence that embraces all paradox and mystery with gentle reverence. Each moment of letting go is a step deeper into the radiant truth that you are not the story you tell yourself, but the vast, unchanging awareness in which all stories arise and rest. Allow this truth to wash over you now, a wave of profound relief and spacious freedom, carrying you gently beyond the me, beyond the story, into the luminous, unconditioned reality of pure presence. Allow your awareness to soften now, as if a gentle mist is settling over the intricate, restless narrative that has so long defined the contours of your existence. The endless, looping story of me as a separate, isolated entity struggling to hold itself together through time. Notice how this story, woven so tightly with threads of identity, memory, and expectation, has been the steadfast companion and the secret jailer alike, a habitual echo in your mind's theater that insists on its own unyielding presence. But feel now, without effort or resistance, the subtle loosening of these threads, as if the fabric of the me you have clung to begins to fray softly at the edges, revealing the vast, boundless expanse beyond its carefully constructed borders. This story, once so vivid and urgent, begins to dissolve like morning fog touched by the sun, the sharp edges of self-definition melting into the raw, luminous simplicity of what is pure presence, untouched by the demands of narrative or the weight of becoming. Sense the spaciousness that emerges when the mind's relentless script, the endless telling and retelling of who you are, where you came from, and where you must go, gently releases its grip, revealing the open sky of awareness that has always been here beneath the words. This is the deep, profound freedom of not needing to be anyone in particular, not needing to prove, defend, or explain your existence. Imagine the me story as a vast ancient tree, with roots sunk deep into the soil of memory and branches entangled with hopes and fears. Now witness the quiet, natural process of leaves falling away, the branches thinning, until what remains is not a story of struggle and separation, but the still, silent trunk standing firm in the earth, a living presence beyond all narrative. You are that trunk, steady and serene, untouched by the changing seasons of identity, calmly holding the space in which all stories come and go like passing clouds. Feel the exquisite relief that arises when the burden of the personal myth, the continuous inner monologue of "I am this" and "I must become that," softens and begins to dissolve into the vast ocean of pure awareness. The mind's habitual need to define itself through past memories and future desires loses its urgency, its desperate need to be known and understood. Instead, you rest in the profound simplicity of being, where the I that once seemed so separate and fragile becomes a shimmering wave within the infinity of consciousness, inseparable from the whole. This wave does not need to resist the vastness or hold tightly to its shape to prove its existence. It simply is effortlessly and beautifully part of the seamless, radiant ocean. There is no loss here, only an immense liberating gain. The gain of realizing that the essence of who you are was never confined to any story, any form, or any identity at all. Notice how this dissolution is not a violent destruction, but a gentle, graceful unspooling, like a spool of golden thread softly unwinding, releasing the tension and binding that once held your sense of self captive. The story you have carried, the one filled with labels, judgments, and relentless striving, begins to fade into the background, like an old song whose melody you no longer need to follow. In its place, a silent, radiant presence expands, vast and clear as a starry night sky, unmarked by the passing comets of thought and emotion. Here in this infinite space, there is no me to defend or protect, no separate ego to command and control. The mind's usual preoccupation with selfhood gently relaxes, revealing the luminous heart of pure being that has always been your true nature, untouched and unshaken by the stories that come and go. Feel now the exquisite paradox of this awakening. In surrendering the me story, you do not lose yourself but find a deeper, more spacious self. A self without edges, without definition, yet profoundly intimate and alive. This self is like the vast sky beneath drifting clouds, limitless and unobstructed, holding each fleeting shape with tender acceptance, but never becoming entangled. You are that sky, vast and open, holding the passing thoughts and feelings with a quiet, effortless presence. There is no need to chase or capture these passing phenomena. They arise, dance briefly, and dissolve back into the open expanse, just as the me story itself arises and dissolves. You rest now in the unchanging background of experience, the clear, luminous awareness that is the true ground of all appearances. As you continue to rest in this spacious awareness, notice how the impulse to cling to identity softens, like the warm glow of a candle flame flickering gently and then merging seamlessly into the vast darkness of night. The mind's habitual urge to create a coherent, continuous I story fades, revealing the radiant silence beneath. This silence is not empty or void, but full of presence, full of life, full of the subtle, infinite aliveness that is the essence of your being. It is a silence that sings with the music of existence itself, a profound stillness that holds the entire universe within its embrace. You are this silence, this boundless, luminous now, where the illusion of separation falls away like a discarded mask, and the truth of your unity with all that is shines forth in radiant clarity. Imagine the story of me as a mirage shimmering on the horizon, beautiful and compelling, but ultimately insubstantial. As you draw nearer with the steady gaze of presence, the mirage begins to dissolve, revealing the vast desert of pure awareness that has always been here, beneath the shifting images. This desert is not desolate, but alive with possibility, a fertile ground where the seeds of freedom and peace grow naturally without effort. Rest now in the spacious desert of your own being, where no story can confine you and no identity can limit the infinite unfolding of what is. Here you are free to simply be, without past, without future, without narrative, resting in the pure radiant essence of existence itself. Feel the gentle unfolding of this truth like a flower opening slowly in the morning light, petal by petal revealing the exquisite beauty of your own raw, unfiltered presence. The story of me, with all its dramas and desires, its fears and hopes, gently falls away, leaving behind the quiet, profound peace of simply being. This peace is not earned or achieved. It is your natural state, your birthright, waiting patiently beneath the layers of story and thought. Allow yourself to sink deeply into this peace now, knowing that in this moment, without any story to hold on to, you are utterly whole, utterly free, and utterly alive in the magnificent simplicity of what is. Let your breath become the gentle rhythm that carries you ever deeper into this spacious freedom, each inhale drawing you into the vastness of presence, each exhale releasing the last remnants of the me story. There is no need to push, no need to force. Simply allow the natural unfolding of awareness to do its sacred work, dissolving the barriers of self and other, past and future, until all that remains is the luminous, unbounded now. Rest here as long as you need, cradled in the infinite embrace of your own true nature, where the story no longer holds sway in the raw, radiant reality of what shines forth like a brilliant, endless sun.